It's human nature to be perpetually dissatisfied and always finding, or not always, but regularly finding fault in things that we have, that we own, relationships, jobs, careers, homes, everything. Our human brain is hardwired to want something different. Dopamine is released when we get new stimulation, something novel, something exciting, something unexpected. And our ancestral brains are pre-programmed to seek those things out naturally. And the problem is it worked very well for our ancestors. It doesn't work very well for us in our modern society and environment, where there are so many temptations, there are so many opportunities for entertainment, for stimulus. There are so many choices and options we have. In our tribal days, maybe you had an option. There were 50, 100, 150 people in a tribe. Those were your options, and half of them were of the opposite sex, and so your options were really limited. Now we have a multitude of options. I hear from clients, I'm a life coach, and I hear from my clients that it's really difficult, especially if you're a man, to meet a woman on Tinder or any of these dating apps, because now if the women have so many options to choose from, especially if they're attractive. And so it's like we have choice overwhelm. And because of that, and because we are constantly jumping from thing to thing, from stimulus to stimulus to stimulus, we can't sit still. We are constantly clicking on the next link, the next Facebook post, the next Twitter feed, the next YouTube video. We're always, at some level, living in the future and never satisfied with what we have here and now. And this creates a lot of suffering and internal discontentment. Nothing is ever good enough, and we're never satisfied, and we're always seeking more. And so in that, you're always looking to the future. We struggle with living in the present moment because of this dynamic that plagues us. And one quick fix, easy to do but hard to stick to, is just minimize and eliminate distractions and find joy, contentment, satisfaction with what you have. I think it's in psychology, it's called the hill, the big hill. We're always wanting to climb the next big hill. And we think that we get to the top of the hill, we're going to have a better view, or there's something nicer, something more spectacular at the top of the hill. We get off that hill, we want to climb another hill. We get off that hill, we want to climb another hill. So it's hardwired into us to never be satisfied with the hill we're on, always wanting more. And I'm sure you can see this in your life, in my life, and it's something, if you're aware of, it doesn't have to overwhelm you or hijack your brain. And when they talk about living in the now, it's like a cliche, live in the moment, live in the now. What does that actually mean? It means wanting what you have in that moment. It means if you're in traffic, you accept and you find a way to embrace or allow space for you not to seek something better. And what causes the suffering? The suffering is projecting in the future. I want to be out of the traffic. I want to be out of this situation. And that creates resistance, and then we can't understand why we're stressed, anxious, frustrated. We always are able to find something to complain about, no matter how good our lives are. And when you think about it, especially for those in the Western world, our lives are really good. We have a roof over our head, food in our stomach. Majority of people, even during these times, we live very comfortable lives. We're not out, in freezing to death. We're not starving for days on end. We're not struggling to find sources of water. When you think about how our ancestors lived, it makes sense why they always wanted to climb the next hill, because it ensured their survival. Now we just pretty much do it for everything. We have a car. We're not satisfied with that car over time. We want a better car, a nicer car, a newer phone. a newer computer, bigger, better, more, and it becomes addictive. And we always fool ourselves, no matter how many times it happens to us, in thinking that the next thing is going to fill that void. And our brains don't work like that. And when you are able to short circuit through awareness and go, oh, there goes my brain again, finding discontentment in the present moment, finding discontentment with my job, with what my life has to offer, it will then seek out something better. And some of my clients, they'll even struggle with daydreaming, where they spend a lot of time fantasizing, dreaming, imagining, writing out goals, ambitions, things they're going to accomplish in the future, because they think that's what will make them happy. Hey, if you're not happy here and now, and studies have proven this. I mean, we all have a baseline of happiness. If you're not happy here and now, unless there's something like really serious, like you have a life-threatening disease, or you're homeless, or you haven't had a job for extended period of time, and you're stressed and struggling with money. If there's no major issues like that, if you're not happy now where your life is at, you're not going to be happy when you accomplish these things that you fantasize or you dream about, and that will make you more fulfilled or more content. I've seen it over and over again. I've been coaching for 11 years, and I've even got involved in self-development when I was a teenager. And I've seen it myself, I've seen it in other people, that perpetual dissatisfaction and thinking that something more will fulfill us. And meanwhile, life just passes us by. It passes us by, and we don't live in a state of joy or a state of contentment. I wouldn't even say we have to live in a state of happiness, but what about if we just appreciated what we have and felt a sense of satisfaction? And the real issue is not external, and that's what I really try to focus on in coaching. It's not external, it's internal. The problems, the frustrations, the complaints, the negativity that you have, stop blaming it on something outside of yourself. Take responsibility, take ownership, and that is empowering, and it allows you to live life not from a victim mindset, but from, hey, I am in charge of how I react to my environment. I could react negatively, I could always want something better, different, more, or I can find joy and contentment and acceptance in what life presents right before me. And once you start on this path, I say this in a lot of my videos, but it's incredible how little you need. You give up all the possessions, or the unnecessary possessions. You practice minimalism, which is really exciting. Simplicity. You find joy. You don't need to go on a huge expensive vacation. You could find joy and contentment and satisfaction in weekend getaways, in their area, maybe a camping trip, maybe just a day hike. It's incredible, all the opportunities that are around us that we don't appreciate or we take for granted because they're so accessible. We think that if something is inaccessible, difficult, expensive, then it's more valuable. And economics would bear that to be true, but we don't have to live like that. We don't have to adopt that mindset. Simple pleasures, the daily simple pleasures, are enough to sustain us for contentment. And just appreciating the food when we eat the food instead of staring at a screen while we're eating, going out for walks, talking to people, reading or learning new interesting things, exercising, getting out in nature, playing with animals. Like, there's so much, and they're so affordable, so accessible, and yet we don't value them. And that's another thing. That's just the way we're hardwired. Like, we always want something that we don't have. And man, I really work on in coaching to get clients off of that treadmill, because it doesn't work. Even when you get those things that you've been clamoring for, or lusting for, it's a short-term fix. You get a short-term bump in life satisfaction or happiness, and then you go back to what your baseline is. So if you're interested in working on raising your baseline of happiness with someone who's experienced and has been doing this for a long time, and does this as a career, and does this this is what I live, breathe, eat, study, drink. It's absolutely fantastic experience. and you want affordable life coaching, send me an email. It is in the description. And there's so much more to life than the bill of goods that we've been sold. And that's why it's so helpful to turn off the media, turn off the social media as well, stop watching the news, stop exposing yourself to advertisements, and go out in places like this. You know, it doesn't even have to be, you don't have to travel for hours and get in your car for hours on end to find small little nooks of nature that you can appreciate, you can enjoy, you can be at peace, you can be alone with your thoughts, undistracted, without listening to music or scrolling on your phone. This, practicing more of this, and this is in alignment with how our ancestors lived. It's a wonderful life. Wonderful, wonderful life, accessible to most all people. And yeah, if you'd like help on that journey and it makes a huge difference, it'll change the course of your life, feel free to contact me. And like I said, in previous videos, students can even afford my coaching prices. I try to make it really, really affordable. Having said that, please help me to grow the channel, to get this message out. Comments are greatly appreciated, and if you like the video, please like it and subscribe. And if you want to be a supporter of the channel, there's a PayPal link in the description. And hey, thanks for watching. I look forward to our next video. Bye-bye.